Hey everybody, got another video. I said I'd be back when I had something to show you on electronics for the Strat build. Still working on that. I took a look at like wiring diagrams and stuff online. I mean, it's like, okay, so here is the pinout for the switch. And I had a wiring diagram for the whole thing. It's basically kind of like this, but I don't know what these guys are thinking. This is a 3-lug double pole 5-way switch, which means it's actually 2 switches, each of which is a 3-lug 5-way switch. It has 3 inputs, it has 1 output. Each of the switches has 3 inputs and 1 output and goes in 5 different positions, which gives you a combination of these inputs as the outputs, either a single input or a pair of them. Just like a Strat behaves, right? Yeah. But so you don't need 2 of these switches. You don't need a double pole. You don't need half of these here. I mean, you just take your 3 pickups and you wire them to your 3 inputs. And you take your 1 output and you send it to your volume and you're done, man. So, and you don't even have to use the other half of the switch. I have no idea, a lot of junk in electronics, man. People come up with some really screwy ass wiring diagrams, make shit a lot more complicated than it really needs to be. So, the basic idea is you got a pickup. You got 3 pickups. You got 3 hot wires. Three inputs, okay? These 3 hot wires from these 3 pickups, the 3 green wires are going to be the 3 inputs for your switch. And then the output's just going to go to the volume. Okay, that's pretty straight. Hold on. When I do this, I got to aim the camera at what I'm talking and pointing at. So, yeah, these 3, 1, 2, 3 inputs from 3 pickups, 1, 2, 3, are going to go on your terminals, 1, 2, 3, the 3 outer ones, and then the next one in is your output. And then these other 4 here are for the whole other switch, which is on the whole other side, not physically connected at all to this switch, except they both switch at the same time when you throw the handle. Yeah, so that's what's going on. So the idea is you take these 3 green guys, go on the 3 ones at the end, you throw your switch, and it takes some combination of those green things and sends them out. There's my finger. Sends them out the 4th terminal. Right? Oh, fuck. Now it's not going to... No, it doesn't want to focus. Okay, so yeah. First 3 are input, the 4th one's output, and then it goes off to the volume. And everything should work fine. And then all the rest of it, the guitar is wired as a common ground circuit in general. So basically you just take all your grounds and tie them together. And here you can see what I've done already is I've hung the tone control circuit across the hot and the ground for the neck and for the middle pickup. So yeah, and all the tone control circuit is you're just taking a cap and a pot and you're hooking it between hot and ground. So yeah, I went ahead and did that, and in the process I've also got the grounding straps on the cases, so they're Faraday cages too, and everything's all super everything is going to be all like, yeah, shielded that way, even inside the capacitors. And here I had, anything that black's connected to is your negative, and anything that green's connected to is your positive, and I just had those hooked up to a jack, and then this in order to check and make sure that the tone controls were actually working and wired so that when you turn them up, they're up, and down, they're down. So yeah, that's all good. So the output at the green on both of these guys is with tone already applied. And you just send a wire from that over to the switch. And so yeah, that's actually going to be the next step, is like the pots are going to go here, and then I'll need to get some of my shielded cabling that I've got so that I can send a wire going from here up here and from here up to here so that I can wire up the pots to the switch. And then I'll go ahead and do the volume. So yeah, that's the next thing, is to prepare some wires for that. Now on these wires, all I really need to do is I need to send a red wire up to each of them, or a hot wire, whatever color I want to use for hot. And then I don't really need any of the other wires, but what I do want to do is I do want to make sure that I connect ground so that the switch is also grounded. And then thence from the switch to the jack and the bridge and such. Another way you can do this is with like a common negative bus, or a common, yeah, basically, where you just take all your grounds for everything and you just twist them all together and wire them up. Or you take, like I had someplace here, yeah, just a piece of shielding cable almost, basically, and you just, my battery's about to go dead, and you just take all your grounds and wire them together onto this negative bus, basically, negative bus wire, and that can make life a lot simpler. Because then, you know, basically you're just tying all your grounds together, and then all you have to worry about is plumbing the hot side of the circuit. And there you tone controls bleed from hot to ground, and then for volumes you're just running into the center and then coming out one side of a pot. And then for switches, you just need the pin out in order to know what pins connect to what when the switch is thrown which way. And then a jack has, you know, a hot and a ground, and that's it. So, anyway, yeah, I'll be back once I got something more. Yeah, buddy. Gotta love bulk food. There's nothing like bulk food 4-conductor shielded cabling off of eBay. I mean, I've got enough wire there to do 100 guitars. Look at that. This doesn't even probably cost me $50, so yeah. Buy in volume and save. Be right back. Gotta find some wire cutters and strippers and such. Okay. Electronics seems to be something that just about everybody skips. So let's do something a little different, man. I took 3 years electronics shop in high school. Might as well show you the correct way to do it. So, okay. These are my 2 wires going on my switch. Alright. So now the idea is I gotta strip back and tin up the ends on both ends, all these, get them all prepped. Got to turn it from a raw piece of wire into a nice pretty little cable all ready for installation, pre-tinned and everything, ready for installation. So the first step is I took the lighter and I'm going back about an inch. If you look at the pickups here, they're a little over an inch stripped back, so I figured that was a good rule of thumb. These seem to be pretty decent electronics here, so. Okay, so I'm going back about an inch. I heated it up a little bit with the lighter. That's going to soften this black stuff, made it easy to cut, makes it easy to bend and peel and such. And it's cooled off now, and it's kind of stiffened up again. And I peel it back, and you got to be very careful you don't want to damage any of the threads on your shielding, because you're going to take all that stuff and kind of gather it together very gently and twist it up into a proper shielding wire end, like you see on, where's this black one? Here we go. Okay, you see this is on the bridge pickup. You got, come on, think focus. All right, see there. You got the black wire and the shield wire are going together, and then you see once you go down into back here, that shield wire is going to do one of two things. It's either going to remain braided the way it is and then just spiral around everything else all the way down the line, or it's actually going to fan out like this stuff, and it's just going to, more or less, the rest of the stuff is just going to be enclosed in it in a very very loose spiral. So, but yeah, you want it in a tight spiral to make it into more of a wire for soldering purposes. So we'll cut this back very carefully to not damage any of these threads. Going to get this shielding part all twisted up, gathered together and twisted up nicely. I'm going to be using the red, and that's really all I need. I'm just going to use the red and the shield, I think, because it's really all I need. So yeah, all the rest of them, I'll cut them flush back here, the yellow, the green, and the black, and I'm just going to use red and the shield. And I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've parted the shielding and pulled the 4 wires over to one side, so now I can go ahead and gather and twist up the shielding, and then cut off the ones I don't need. Okay, this phone is very awkward to hold. So the shielding's all twisted up. I'm going to be using the shielding and the red. I'm going to cut these 3 off. And there we are, all cut off. I just came in with the dikes here and got up real snug and close, made sure I wasn't clipping either of these two, and snipped all 3 at once. Okay, so now need to strip back the red one and tin both of these, and that's one end. And then you just repeat 1, 2, 3 more times. Okay, red end is stripped. You can use wire strippers for this. I just heated it up with the lighter and just pulled it off with my fingers. So, let me tin this up right quick. Okay, all tinned up. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process for the other 3 ends. Be right back. Okay, all done, all tinned up and ready to solder. The short one is going to go on the neck pot, and the long one goes on the middle pickup pot. And so yeah, let me go and do one of those right quick. I'll be right back. Okay, there it is. It's all it takes. You got the reds going to the green terminal, which is your hot signal from the pickup, and the shielding wire, which doubles as our ground, so hot and ground. That's going to the case, which is our common ground here for this circuit. It's got the negative from the pickup, it's got the shielding from the pickup wire, so it's got the capacitor. So yeah, that's our common ground point right there. And I already hooked up the alligator clips to the amp, to these wires, and everything's working correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and put the longer one on the other pot, and then it's time to hook these guys up to the switch. Okay, got the second one on here. It was being a bit of a pain getting the ground wire, the solder here for on the pot casing to melt. The casing acts as a huge heat sink, and it takes, like minutes to get this thing hot enough to actually melt the solder onto the casing so it sticks. and it was being a pain. So instead of soldering it there, I just soldered it to this other shielded cable here. It's all the same thing. It's all ground. So yeah, you can see it just goes from there right down to there. So no real difference. And that, needless to say, that soldered up just right quick because 2 pieces of silver wire and it's already pre-tinned there. So no problems. I'll just to be certain, I'll hook this up to the amp right quick here. And we'll make sure that it's working. Got my ground. And my hot. Stay apart, you guys, stay apart. There we go. And get the amp. Turn on the amp. And all hooked up here to our pot and down to our middle pickup. And then we get like, where's the screwdriver. And hopefully, yep, looks good, looks good. Okay, next step is we have a hot wire for the middle. We have a hot wire for the neck, and we have a get the right wire here. Come here, man, get apart. This whole working with one hand and one hand holding the camera really sucks. Okay, and we have a hot wire right there. Now, all these guys, I need to go ahead and tape them off so they don't actually ground out against something. They're there in case I want to do a coil tap. You could always do a coil tap upgrade to this thing later or something. Or, you know, do the whole 9 yards and make it so that you can put stuff in series and parallel and phase and all the rest of it. So, but anyway, yeah, let me, I guess the next step is I'm going to start wiring up this switch here. So, I'll be right back. Actually, I'm at almost 18 minutes. That's going to be the next video. So, we finished wiring up all the pots. So, switch is next. See you in the next video. Everybody, have a good one.